Hey, what's up guys? Today I wanted to try something that you might think you're familiar with, and I thought I was too, but you're really not. And it's Chinese food. And all the Americanized Chinese food that most people think of, the roast pork, the char siu, all that, that's actually from a small part of China in Canton, which most Chinese that immigrated to America are from. But the whole rest of the nation of China, I'm surprised. I've been watching lots of Chinese cooking videos on YouTube a lot. All of the Mandarin speaking parts, not Cantonese, they eat a lot of spice. Almost similar, not really, but you know, very close since they're kind of near each other. It reminds me of Korean food. A lot of it is soupy, I guess, to make things go a longer way with rice. Also because it's cold there, so it kind of warms you up. And I figured today's a cold, windy day here in Hawaii, so why not try it? Hopefully, I'm kind of scared because it looks really spicy, but usually I can handle spice. But when I watch these videos, man, do they put some spice in there, including not just the red chili peppers, they put the Sichuan peppercorn. So we'll dig in, and these are some of the things that I kind of craved or was really interested in trying. Watching all these YouTube videos of these Chinese YouTubers, they always make fish soups, usually with pickled, what their version of sauerkraut is, but I wanted to do a spicy soup, so I got some boiled fish in some spice hot soup, that's what they call it, and some Dan noodles, which is noodles with usually minced meat and a hot sauce, and some fried rice. And this is all from a place called Simply Sichuan. There have been a couple of Sichuan places that I've opened up in Hawaii, a handful, and I went to one of them in that center in Ward. I forgot what it's called, the Ohana Marketplace. We had some duck heads there. If you want to check out that video, I'll put the link up above. And had some, like, their Chinese hamburger, which is like a bun with spiced meat, and yeah, it was pretty spicy. So we'll dig into this food. I'm excited to try their staples of what they usually eat a lot. And so I guess we'll start off with the Dan noodles. I hear some people say dan, but if you can see, it's pretty much looks like ground beef or ground pork, some kind of ground meat with some veg. I'm not sure if it's choy sum or bok choy. And the noodles are below, and you're supposed to mix it up with the sauce that's on the bottom. So we'll try it out. It smells really good. Very sesame oil-ish. Ooh, yeah, that's spicy. See, I never connected spice with Chinese food, really. But you'll be surprised. Most of the whole country eats some pretty spicy stuff. I think spicier than Mexican or even Korean food, or kind of close to Thai food even. They put a lot of chili pepper in their food. It's really good. Very different. We'll take a bite of this veg. That cools it down kind of a bit. It is quite spicy. I'm not sure if they put the Szechuan peppercorn in it or just plain chili pepper, but it is quite numbing, and I guess that's what they call that numbing feeling of the Szechuan peppercorn. The main flavor of this, though, interestingly enough, is very sesame seed oil-ish flavor tasting. That's all I'm getting. I see a big star anise here. They're big on those herbs and stuff. It's quite salty on the bottom, so you gotta mix it up really good with the noodles, but once you kind of eat the noodle part, it kind of goes well. Noodles are different from what I'm used to. It's not your typical local Simon noodles or ramen. It's not as chewy. It's very fragile almost, gentle. But they're not soggy or anything, but a different texture or chew to it. All right, so that's the noodle. Quite spicy, has that meat. Everything coats with the, the noodles coat with the meat, chopped meat and the sauce. And the spices, it is spicy, kind of on the salty side, but I think when you pair it with a bunch of noodles and the veg, because the veggies aren't salty, it kind of melds it out a little bit on the salty side. But I think if you're sensitive to salt, this might not be for you. So we'll put that on the side since I have a lot of things to try. I'm kind of scared to put this up here because they put so much stuff in here with liquid. This is the boiled fish in the hot sauce or hot soup. The top is very coated with oil, but that's, Chinese food. And look at all these peppers. Holy moly. The whole container is pretty blood red, but this is what I always watch on YouTube of all the Chinese cooks eating it, so I was curious. Let's taste it. Wow. Very tender fish. I don't know what kind of fish it is. It doesn't say it on the menu, but very mild. Almost, I'm going to guess it's a basa fish. No bones. Tender. But you definitely feel the chili pepper oil. I see in it we've got bean sprouts. I don't know what else is in here. It's so full of soup. But lots of fish. I'll say they're very generous with the fish pieces. Tons of them in here. They're big pieces, but they kind of fall apart in your chopstick because they're so tender. But I like how they're boneless. And the fish itself isn't so hot or spicy. But you can feel it. It's very, it is that numbing spice instead of like a hot, burn your mouth spice. An interesting feeling. This one, I wouldn't say is as salty as the noodles. I think, obviously these Chinese soups are meant to be paired with rice. So when you eat the rice with it, it'll be perfect, flavor-wise. But yeah. All on the bottom here is bean sprouts. I think they put them in raw before they pour the soup in, which is good because they're not soggy or limp. They still have a crunch to them, so it goes well with this. Super good. This was on their menu as a recommended item, so I can see why. This is really good. But obviously, if you don't like spicy stuff, you might not like this, but I really honestly don't think it's as spicy as it looks. It looks really scary. Obviously, you see all this oil of chili here. But not too bad. Okay, let's go and move on to the Yang Chow fried rice. That's what he said. I don't know. On the menu, it looked like Yang Zhao, so I mispronounced it, but he kept saying Yang Chow, so I'm assuming that's what it is. Pretty much it looks like your typical fried rice, except it's got little baby shrimp in here. And some char siu, or I'm not sure if it's lupchong. Looks like lupchong actually. Peas and egg. So let's dig in. I love fried rice. Let's see if this is good. Good flavor. They're very generous with the shrimp and very generous with the egg. Lots of egg in here. Not too salty. The rice isn't sticking together and it's not mushy. I'm not a fan of lopchong really, but it's cut in small pieces, so it kind of melds with everything and it actually tastes good. Since you need rice with the spicy stuff, let's try this fish and pair it with some rice. Or their chili pepper. Look at that. Huge pieces everywhere. It's crazy how they like their spice. But I think this should really go well with the rice. Let's try it out. That's really good with rice. So definitely, if you do try the fish or any of their fish soups, at least get regular white rice with it to go with it, not just the soup. The meat goes really well with it, and the balance of the saltiness goes really well together, and it's not too salty or anything like that. Again, the strange thing is I taste a lot of heavy sesame seed oil in that fish soup, which I wouldn't really associate with Chinese food in my mind. The Chinese food I grew up with knowing anyway. I tend to pair or think of sesame seed oil as something of Korean food. They use it a lot, but not so much Chinese food. But both the noodles and the soup have very heavy flavors of sesame seed oil. Okay, so that was pretty much all of the things that I tried from Simply Sichuan. It was a very interesting, good experience. So we'll go over the pros and cons. I didn't finish all of it, obviously. This is the same as any Chinese restaurant. Typically, you buy something, even if it's takeout, it's made as a family style platter, except these are in containers to take out. So obviously it's not made for one person to eat. I just wanted 3 different things just to show different dishes and flavors that they offer, because they don't do typical one plate lunch things for one person. So of course I'm not going to finish everything. I just wanted a sample and I'll eat it for another meal. So we'll go over the pros and cons. For the food, it was very different to me. Not in a bad way, it's just I kind of went in knowing that this is not like Cantonese food, but wanted to explore different cuisines and different stuff for my taste buds. So the pros is they all have bold flavors, definitely bold flavors. If you like spicy, you'll definitely like this. If you like something new to try, go for it. The fried rice I really liked, that was good. And I thought it was very unique that they used chopped up lok chung. And if you don't know what that is, that's dry cured Chinese sausage, which has an interesting sweet flavor to it instead of char siu. So that is very interesting. Most people just use char siu or other cheap meats to make their fried rice, but they had shrimp in there too, little baby shrimp, but there was tons of them in there, so they didn't skimp on that. I like the fish. It was very tender, and I like that they added the bean sprouts on the bottom. I thought it was just going to be pretty much just meat and the soup, but good flavor and surprisingly not as spicy as I thought. It just looks more spicy than you think it is, to me anyway. The Dan noodles, I thought it was good flavor, but a little bit too salty for me, but it's a good snack. Good one size portion for somebody if you're craving noodles, and if you have had them before and you enjoy them, then this is definitely a good portion for you with enough meat and veg with the noodles and sauce. Nothing was dry or anything like that. I'll go over the cons. The cons would be that the noodles, like I said just now, it's a little bit way too salty for me, for my taste. And that out of all the 3 dishes was super spicy. That was pretty freaking hot. So warning for those who cannot handle hot, those noodles are hot. Whatever's on the bottom is more lethal than that fish soup. The fish soup, although delicious, it's very, very oily. Like you can see, look at that much oil floating on the top. So if you're not into oil, the soup has a lot of oil in it, and both the noodles and the fish soup very heavy on the sesame seed oil, which almost is a little bit too much for me. But if you like sesame seed oil, then hey, good news for you. But that was a little bit heavy. Other than that, I really enjoyed the experience of trying something new. As far as another good thing about them is the service was great on the phone, from the phone for takeout to in person. Everybody in there was really happy and just really glad for you to be there as a customer, and it shows. So that was very nice. Another con is parking. You can either park inside the Chinese Cultural Plaza, which they're located at, and walk to it. They're facing, because that place is huge, they're right next to, I believe it's Legend Seafood, so the window, you can see it from kind of that intersection of Beretania Street, where Beretania Street kind of meets with River Street. You can see their sign, but that's not the door you go into. You got to walk around and go actually into the plaza, and there's another door. That's their main entrance. Yeah, that con is you either park in the plaza. They do validated parking. I did not do that because I'm not a person that carries cash all the time. I'm a debit card person. So you would, if you're not into carrying cash to pay, I'm not sure what the validation covers. You can park by Jolene's Market, but it was super crowded when I went, and all the street parking was taken near the parking lot area of the garage of Chinese Cultural Plaza. So I just parked close by. There was a lot of parking on the street on Mauna Kea near Duck's Bistro, and I just crossed the street and it's right there. So it wasn't a very far walk, and it's good to have a little exercise. So, but sometimes, you know, Chinatown, it's not really easy to find parking, so that might be a con about the parking, unless you're willing to pay for the garage parking for their establishment. So that's a con, and it's hard to find parking when you called in takeout, and it's not a good feeling when you're hoping that your food's not getting soggy and trying to hurry up and go around and around the block and stuff. So yeah, that is pretty much my review of this place. We'll go over the price. Some people might not like the price, but remember, like I said, this is a Chinese restaurant. If you were to dine in, which dine in is available, these things would be on a big plate, and you know, you spin it around like a typical Chinese restaurant, and you're supposed to share amongst people. So I would say this could feed, besides the noodles, that's probably one portion, maybe 2 people, 3 people if you're light eaters. If you order more things, you get more full. So the amount with tax was $38.71. So I divided that by 2. That's about $19, a little over $19 for 2 people if you were to buy this and bring it home. So, I mean, it's not too bad. So if you like this, press the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you want to check out any other food reviews around the island of Oahu, check out my other videos about other restaurants. I'll try to go to another one tomorrow and show you guys another place to eat. Yeah, so check this place out if you're into a different kind of cuisine of the Chinese cooking. I mean, I never knew until recently about the difference of what I thought Chinese cooking was to what it really is around their whole country. Pretty much Cantonese food is a very minuscule part of their country's cuisine. So yeah, definitely check it out at Simply Sichuan. And I'll see you again on another food adventure. Take care, guys. Bye.